Ich bin nicht der einzige Mensch und das weiß ich auch.
I'm
Aber
not
jetzt
the
grad
only
in dem
one.
Moment
I know
fühle ich mich
that.
so,
But right
als
now,
ob
in
ich
this
der
moment,
einzige
I feel
Mensch
like
auf
I'm the
diesem
only person on this
gottverdammten
goddamn
Planeten
planet
bin,
who feels lonely.
der sich einsam fühlt, der gerade eben
Like,
aus dem Fenster
I just looked out
rausgeguckt
the
hat
window and saw so
und
many young people
super
going
viele
out
junge
tonight,
Menschen
meeting
gesehen
their
hat, die
friends.
heute feiern gehen, die sich mit ihren
I see
Freunden
so
treffen.
much on
Ich
social
sehe
media.
super viel auf Social Media.
I mean, it's
Ich
the
meine, es ist
weekend. Of
Wochenende.
course,
Natürlich
people are
macht man
doing
da was
stuff
mit
with their
seinen Freunden
friends.
und ich sitze zu Hause
And I'm
und
sitting
habe
at
grad zu
home right
kämpfen
now, struggling with my body.
mit meinem Körper.
Es fühlt sich ein bisschen so an,
It feels like my wheels are
im
spinning,
Schlamm festzustecken,
hitting the
Gas
gas, and I'm not going
voranzukommen.
anywhere.
Also es ist sehr, sehr ähnlich
It
auch
feels
zu
very
den
similar to my
Gefühlen, die sich
depression.
Depressionen anfühlen. Und
I'm there, but not in the
ich
midst
bin
of things. That
dabei,
makes me
aber
feel
nicht
very
drin.
lonely.
Und das macht mich sehr einsam.
Ich dachte,
I thought I was kind of the weird, lonely one. I always sat alone in lectures, didn't talk to anyone. I thought, I don't know, that I must just seem really weird.
I find my loneliness very uncomfortable. I'm still trying to see the kind of superpower in it. With sadness or disappointment or anger, at least there's something driving it. I don't know what's driving the loneliness yet.
Das Ding.
Exit Einsamkeit.
Wir sprechen ab jetzt hier bei Das Ding über ein Thema, was noch irgendwie viel zu wenig Aufmerksamkeit bekommt, und zwar Einsamsein, Einsamkeit. Aber vor allem sprechen wir auch mit euch.
Was mich am meisten einsam fühlen lässt, ist einfach diese emotionale Distanz, die ich oft so verspüre in der Gesellschaft.
Das ist so eine ganz starke Schwere, die auf einem lastet.
Einsam möchte keiner sein, hat sowas von einem Makel. Aber wir sind viele.
I'm a little afraid that certain topics might come up that could make me sad. This is generally a very sensitive topic for me. And yeah, it could open up something or trigger something.
Like, this is better than winning the lottery. You can manifest so much more. No one gives a shit. Do you want us to feel sorry for you? I'm not going to feel sorry for you.
Part of my daily routine is watching videos from YouTubers who make content about manifestation. I basically have them in my ear all the time. What I love is that you get the sense of power, that you're truly the creator of your own reality. You don't need astrology or anything outside yourself. Every day it's me who decides who I am. That gives me a real boost.
You're still acting like a little entitled brat.
Hi, I'm Vanillin. I'm 34 years old, a Gemini, and I'm a trained actress, host, voice actor, mental coach, photographer, lecturer, and model.
Good morning from Alexandria and me.
Good morning from Alexandria and me. We're starting the day with some stretching and a drink made of barley grass, celery, cucumber, and collagen to tighten my skin from the inside. I also love to sing, especially metal. Not heavy metal, more like metalcore. I definitely don't see myself as a victim. I see myself more as the main character. Not above anyone else, not at all. But I have my own center, a bubble that helps me move forward. People say, what do you mean you're not doing well? Everything's great. You have a great job. You look great. You have so much. They list everything I have, and I'm like, yeah, thanks. But then they take away your right to feel bad or lonely sometimes. I achieve everything I want. I achieve everything I want. And I let go of everything that blocks me. I'm allowed to be myself. I'm allowed to be myself. I'm popular, loved, and protected. I love you. Please forgive me. I forgive you. Thank you. Peace. I achieve everything I want. Very good.
Mein Einsamkeitsgefühl von der 0
On a scale from 0 to 10, my loneliness is at 11.
Ja.
Can you take a picture just of me with the tower?
Ja, just here. Ja, geht weg. Ja, thank you, bye. Also ich finde
Instagram is a kind of love-hate thing for me. On the one hand, I love that I can fully express myself there. But it's also exhausting when you start worrying about missing out or not posting enough.
Oder nicht genug zu posten. Mega.
I basically feel lonely all the time. It affects me most of all in my private life. When I'm at work, I don't even have time to think about it, but the feeling is still there. I'm always giving 110%. I think that's why when I'm alone, it all comes back twice as strong, like a beach ball you keep pushing underwater, and at some point it just bursts back up. That's why it feels so intense in my private life. So much that at times I didn't even want a private life.
1 second, I just need one more thing. There. Is this okay? All right, let's start.
If you've never felt it, it's hard to describe. Saying it feels empty or sad or suffocating, that's all true, but it still doesn't get to the root of it.
I think we're done.
Very nice, wow. I tend to be a bit of a workaholic. Then when the curtain falls, there's nothing there.
Also, weiß ich nicht. Also gibt's nicht so.
I think you just accept it as this dark passenger riding with you in the car. You can't kick it out. It's just there, buckled in. I'd love to kick it out and have it never come back.
Ja.
Sonntage sind so die
Sundays are some of the worst days because everything slows down even more.
Und natürlich auch so irgendwie dieses
Then I have this image in my head.
Bild dann auch im Kopf, naja, das sind
Other
andere
couples,
Pärchen,
families
Familien,
spending their Sunday
die
together.
am Sonntag eben freie Zeit haben, miteinander verbringen können.
And I realize
Und ich merke,
I'm
ich bin-
usually alone.
Ja, ich bin
Lonely.
meist alleine, einsam hier. Also angekommen bin ich noch gar nicht, obwohl
I
ich jetzt
still
fast
don't
4
feel
Jahre
like
da
I've
bin.
arrived here,
Mentalität
even though I've been here almost 4 years.
Definitiv, also,
The mentality is definitely a factor.
Hier sind neigeschmeckt. Ich finde, das sagt schon
The local dialect even has its own word just for people not from here. That says a lot about the place. I moved to Stuttgart in 2021 for my job at the time. My former best friend had lived here for years, so I already had a connection with the city. Then I realized that relationship was consuming more energy than it was giving to me.
Mehr Energie nimmt, als dass sie mir gibt. Ich glaube, dass Frauen über
I
schwierige
think
Emotionen
women can talk more with each other and share difficult emotions,
können
like
und auch
loneliness.
diese Emotionen zusammen tragen und aushalten können, was Männer, glaube ich, nicht
I don't
können.
think men can do that.
Selbst jetzt, wenn die Freundschaft zu meinem besten
Even if I
Freund,
still had that relationship with my best friend,
da wäre
it
nicht
wouldn't be
dieses,
like
wir können uns in den
we can
Arm
hug and cry together.
und zusammen weinen oder sowas.
Because
ja,
then
weil
people immediately add this weird sexual connotation like no homo, which is complete nonsense.
No homo, was kompletter Schwachsinn ist, weil das nichts damit zu tun hat.
Heute, wie gesagt, ist ein typischer Sonntag dann, seitdem ich zu Hause bin.
Mein Bruder ist so, die Familie, die
My brother is basically the only family I have.
Eltern,
I don't feel much connection to my parents or grandparents.
Allein zu wissen, so dieses
Just knowing I can share something with someone helps. Loneliness gets dangerous when you're stuck with your own four walls and you can't share anything.
Einsamkeit fühlt sich
Loneliness feels like a personal flaw. I'm 33. I don't have kids or a relationship.
weder Kinder noch eine Beziehung.
I start thinking,
Natürlich.
I don't have that. What am I doing wrong?
Und was mache ich denn falsch?
What's
Wo bin
wrong
ich
with me?
falsch? Ja?
I
think the first time I really felt lonely was when my eating disorder started.
Mit meiner Essstörung. Ich bin glücklich mit meinem Körper und ich
I'm happy
weiß auch,
with
dass
my
ich
body,
gesund aussehe.
and I know I
Ich
look
bin
healthy.
nicht zu dick, nicht
I'm
zu
not too
dünn.
big,
Ich mag
not too
meine
thin.
langen Beine. Ich finde meine Haare toll.
I like
ich mag
my
meine
long
Augen
legs.
total. Und dann
I love
gucke
my
ich
hair,
manchmal
my
in den Spiegel
eyes.
und sehe, ja,
But then I look in the mirror and think, okay, my upper arms are too big, or my thighs rub together in the summer and it hurts.
für mich immer noch auf
That's still really hard for me to accept, because I wish I looked different than I do right now. Sorry.
Sorry. Ich trage gerne eher legere
I like to dress in
Kleidung
casual
und ich
clothes.
kleide mich auch gerne eher
I also like
maskulin,
dressing more
was man so
masculine,
als
or whatever
maskulin
people call
betiteln kann.
masculine.
Und da
I get a lot of
komme ich
strange
ganz
looks in
oft
Cottbus.
Ganz tiefe Blicke im Cottbus.
Aber schnell.
War das ein One-Take?
Also?
What an awesome earring.
Thanks.
Oh my God.
Einsamkeit ist ein Stück weit schon ein
Loneliness
Makel,
almost feels like a failing.
weil ich mich vielleicht auch ein Stück weit dafür schäme, dass ich einsam
Perhaps
bin.
because
Und
I'm ashamed
das
of being
Gefühl habe, dass
lonely
ich vielleicht nicht so
and feel like
die
I don't value the
Freundschaften
friendships I
eigentlich
do have
habe.
enough.
Ich weiß nicht,
I don't know
warum
why.
das so war.
I used to get reactions
aber
like I somehow wasn't okay just the way I am.
Dass ich einfach nicht so richtig bin.
So I
wie ich
started
bin.
pretending,
Dann habe ich angefangen, mich zu verstellen.
especially when
weil
I
ich mir
wasn't
nicht
sure
ganz
what
genau
people
sicher
thought
war,
of
wie
me.
ich auf Leute wirke oder das eben erstmal
I'd try to
zu
figure out
versuchen,
first if I could be
abzuchecken,
myself or not.
ob ich halt so sein kann, wie ich bin oder eben nicht. Achso, wie lange bleibst
So
du?
how long are you staying?
Ich würde eigentlich
I was
auch, wenn
actually
du
about to head out
fast schon
soon.
losmachen.
We haven't had arson attacks here, but we've had fascist groups show up twice, causing trouble, doing Hitler salutes. One time there were 10 or 11 kids, no older than 11 or 12, all masked up, walking past shouting, "Smash the punks." I was like, what's going on?
Was ist hier los?
Was ich schon gehört habe, ist zum Beispiel.
I've heard
du
things
bist
like,
Fotze, ich
you
hoffe,
left
deine
us.
Familie
I hope your
stirbt.
family
Ich
dies.
hoffe, du wirst
I hope you get
vergewaltigt,
raped since you're a
weil
woman.
du eine Frau bist. Das Schlimmste finde ich aber.
But the
die
worst
Blicke,
part
die
is the
man,
looks you get in Cottbus.
passiert, wenn man als Frau in Cottbus rumläuft. Und eben
When
nicht
you are a
so
woman who
aussieht, wie das
doesn't look the way
wahrscheinlich ein
most
Großteil
people
der
here
Menschen
want
hier
you to.
gerne hätte. Es macht mir auf jeden Fall Sorgen.
It definitely makes me anxious about meeting new people, because you never know right away what someone's like, if they think like you. I'm often afraid to meet new people because I'm afraid of confrontation.
Wir erreichen nun meinen Hauptbahnhof, der Ausstieg in Fahrrichtung links. Das ist mein Main Station, exit to the left side.
Bei mir ist es halt, dass ich mich
For me, it's like I don't see anyone for 6 months, and then for 6 months, I plan 2 meetings a day. That sums it up. My swings are really intense.
Bei mir so diese Schwingungen halt sehr stark sind. Hallo, einmal die Prunkgasse 52 bitte.
Perhaps I can offer some inspiration, because I've been through these phases many times. Lonely, not lonely, lonely again. You always get out of it eventually. Maybe that will help someone.
Yes, I'm falling.
I
moved here in October at the start of the semester. When I arrived, I felt like a ghost. You're kind of invisible. Everyone else has a life, knows the place, has their people, and you're just there, but no one notices you.
Beachtet wird so.
A good friend of mine started studying here at the same time. She's from Munich. And my ex-boyfriend also moved here and started studying. So I knew them.
It
was pretty tough because I didn't really find my place. My days were a bit of university and then 15 hours of sleep. You don't want to get up when life doesn't feel worth living. I kind of kicked myself and said, just do it. Talk to your friend. Grab that coffee. Live your life. You didn't move to Freiburg, graduate high school, and grow up just to do nothing. So I actively tried to meet people. Do you guys want to move? I thought I was kind of the weird, lonely one. I always sat alone in lectures, didn't talk to anyone. I thought I must just seem really weird.
Do you have room for me?
Yeah, of course. Want to sit on the blanket? That's one of the reasons I couldn't sleep 2 days ago. I saw that story and felt like I was back in 8th grade, seeing best friends hanging out, and you're not there.
I was sick this week for 2 or 3 days. I felt like so much was happening. I had serious FOMO.
I get that. It's a huge thing for us. Our friend group hangs out every day, so you feel like you always have to text, always be there. Not just because of FOMO, but to stay part of the group. It's exhausting. You're offline for 3 hours and there are 50 messages. You're like, what happened? You miss one reply and suddenly there's a candlelight dinner and you're not there. You take 1 day off your phone and everything happens. Socially, it's just really exhausting.
I always have the option, because I have Felix, to just do something as a couple.
Relationships in that sense, mashallah. With new friendships, you don't really know who people are yet, their qualities, their character, how they'll handle situations or treat you. There's always the risk that those friendships will end at any moment, because that foundation of trust isn't there yet.
So, ich bin jetzt gerade auf dem Weg.
I'm on my way to Mainz to talk about loneliness with 3 other people.
Dort mit 3 anderen über das Thema Einsamkeit sprechen.
It's pretty unusual to talk about the topic at all, but especially with people I don't know.
Aber auch dann mit 3 Leuten, die ich noch überhaupt nicht kenne. Das ist so ein Gefühl wie
It feels like the first day of school, being the first one there and wondering what your new classmates will be like.
I was really nervous. I saw Gordon sitting outside and didn't know if I should go up to him or not. I took an extra 5 minutes to properly arrive.
Hi, I'm Ellen.
Ich bin Ellen, hi. All right.
Do you have henna tattoos?
Yeah, the freckles too. They're all fake. Can you open this with a lighter?
I actually have a bottle opener.
I'd say I'm an open, extroverted person. But the situation has to feel right. I need to feel comfortable to be that way.
There are a few youth clubs in Cottbus, and I'm part of one association.
Don't be frightened.
Hi, I'm Ellen.
Gordon, hi. Oh, someone else who smokes.
Yeah, I think we all smoke.
Took a little effort at first, with the age difference and the gender difference too, but that faded pretty quickly. Ellen, right?
Exactly.
Your name, you know that...
I'm really bad at remembering names.
You're in that moment, you're introducing yourself, and you're like, damn, I actually have to listen. Right. Lily, where do you come from?
From Cottbus.
Ah, you're from Cottbus, right.
Are people there pretty right-wing?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever checked the rate in your city?
I think this year it was around 46%. That's across the whole region, too. Pretty much everyone.
Hallo.
What do you do?
Right now, I'm unemployed and looking for work. Before that, I managed an NGO in education. I'm actually a teacher, but the system and I really notice the intense doom scrolling, especially when I'm alone at home. The phone is basically a connection to feel some kind of fake closeness. At the same time, it makes you feel even lonelier.
Totally. I really felt that during the times I was doing badly. I'd sleep 15 hours and spend the other 9 in front of a screen because it kind of pulls you away from your own reality and your thoughts.
Do you think that's good, watching that stuff?
Of course not. I was doing badly, but that was my way of coping. It's kind of dumb, but it's also like, there's this FOMO thing, right? Someone's traveling and you feel bad about your life. But if you just switch your life off and turn on the internet, it feels like you just travel too, because you watched that vlog.
I think it's really just that dopamine kick. At the same time, like I said, it makes me lonelier. Social media is completely curated. People only post what looks amazing.
I think the fourth person's coming.
At first, for a few seconds, I thought, oh no, I got scared again that I wouldn't fit in with the group. Where do I start? Hi, Vanillin. Hi, Vanillin.
I already forgot your name again.
Vanillin.
Vanillin.
That's a really beautiful name.
It's a mix of Vanessa and Lynn. My mom came up with it.
So she invented it? It didn't exist before?
Not like this. She was a fan of Vanessa Paradis and Marilyn Monroe. She wanted to combine them and be creative.
Nice.
When people hear I work with Instagram, they instantly have an image of me, and I'm an outsider. Well, not an outsider exactly, but they put me on a pedestal. I feel like I have to deliver something I can't actually deliver, and then it gets hard.
Are you active on Instagram?
I trained as an actress, a presenter, and a voice actor. And then there's Instagram.
How many followers?
I think I have around 26,000 to 27,000 now, so micro-influencer.
Wait, 26,000? Brother, that's a lot.
Brother?
How many likes do you get?
It varies. It stressed me out so much, I turned it off.
I was just thinking, wow, that would stress me out so much.
You even have the blue check? You've got 29,000 followers. We're hanging out with a movie star.
I'm not ashamed of it. I'm proud of it. But I miss being seen without that lens. That's really hard. On the one hand, I'm not that alone. I have a lot of people. I call them my crew. Friends feels complicated. Acquaintances feels too little. Crew sounds cooler. But they're all in different places in life. I have to hurry a bit. My train leaves soon. And I have a shoot at a modeling agency. Most interviews about loneliness I've seen were with models. That path people describe, it fits. You go to castings alone, get 1,000 rejections, keep going. Life moves fast. People are replaceable. You need a thick skin, and you're completely isolated, even though you're always around people. Hi. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hätte ich mein Leih.
Du kannst auch die blaue Jeans probieren lassen. Auch sehr cool. Die welche? Die blaue Jeans. Ja, ich finde das sogar.
Of course, you meet amazing people in this field, but it's a competitive business. One person gets a better job, another gets a different rate. That creates loneliness too.
Und das macht auch Einsamkeit.
Could you send that to me as well?
Yeah, sure. Just give me your Instagram.
Oh, super, ja.
Dann kannst du mir eintippen.
Ja, das ist perfekt. Super.
A few days ago, a friend told me, "You're too pretty, too young, and too successful to be lonely." I told him that was really dumb. What does one have to do with the other?
Mit dem anderen zu tun. Super, und euch viel Spaß.
Ja.
Oder? Das wäre doch witzig.
Wie fühlst du dich, wenn
How
du
do you
jetzt
feel
weißt,
as the only guy
der
here?
einzige männliche Part hier dann bist in der Runde?
Einsam.
Lonely.
Also ich glaube, es ist diese Kombi.
I think
der
it's a
einzige
mix,
Mann zu sein,
being the only man and also the oldest.
Also ich merke es ja schon, das ist so
I can feel it. It's Gen Y and Gen Z. But loneliness doesn't stop at generations. I think a lot of boomer men are extremely lonely.
Männer, also da jetzt mal kurz nur auf, sind ultra einsam.
Ja, ich glaube
I agree,
auch,
but very few talk about it, which is sad.
Also auf deine Frage, ja, das ist schon
To
so,
answer your question,
aber mal gucken jetzt,
yeah,
auch die
it's
ersten
there.
Momente erstmal ankommen.
But let's see.
Ja, bin gespannt.
We're just
Grad
getting
vor allem, weil,
settled.
ihr beide grad eben
I'm curious, especially hearing you talk about being out with friends.
mit Kumpels unterwegs gewesen und danach
I really miss that. Since Stuttgart and after college, the number of people in my life has just kept shrinking.
Es werden immer also es werden immer weniger Leute. Ja.
Ich meine, du hast erzählt,
You told us how you got here, but not why you answered yes to being lonely.
Bis du einsam mit Ja antworten konntest.
Also ich hatte früher Anorexie.
I had anorexia when I was younger. I spent about a year and a half in clinics and hospitals. I was 12. It really shaped me. It started when I was 11 on vacation. My mom and sister asked why I wasn't eating. I was a kid. I didn't understand. I still have the same thought patterns. My body needs more now, but my mind says I can't have more. It's a constant battle.
Ich finde schon, dass die Essstörung mich sehr viel einsamer
The eating
gemacht
disorder
hat.
made me much lonelier.
Einfach, weil ich
Between 12 and 15, I barely had friends.
Lebensjahr so gut wie keine Freunde hatte. Gerade
When I came back from the clinic, I was always the girl with the eating disorder.
mit der Essstörung. Ich war immer die in der Pause nicht mit allen zusammen gegessen hat. Ich war ab
I
dem
never felt like a
Zeitpunkt
normal
nie
teenager
wieder,
again.
Ich sag mal, so eine normale Teenagerin.
Oh, total. Aber wann sind so die
When do you
Momente,
feel the
wo du dich
loneliest?
einsam fühlst?
Wenn du dann so alleine nach
Coming
Hause
home
kommst,
alone,
Moment.
that moment.
Also meine Katze wartet auf mich.
My cat's waiting for me. That
Aber
helps.
das ist wirklich es ist einfach
But
eine
it's still this
Ambivalenz. Und da
ambivalence.
finde ich, da gibt es für mich es gibt da keine Mitte.
There's no
Es gibt
middle
da nicht
ground.
dieses, ne? Also klar kann man überlegen, ich habe ja auch
Even in
mit einem
relationships,
Partner auch
when I have
zusammen
them.
gewohnt. Das ist was anderes, das kann man nicht vergleichen.
It's something
Aber ich
inside.
finde es trotzdem auch in einer Beziehung oder generell, das ist ja was Inneres.
Nach Hause zu kommen,
Coming
die
home,
Wohnung ist irgendwie
the apartment's
leer,
empty and
dunkel.
dark.
Und das ist
That's
dann
when
wirklich
loneliness really hits.
Das ist wirklich so die Einsamkeit am Schreien.
That's the
wirklich.
tough
Das
part.
ist so, und das ist so dieses
There's that longing for a partner, sure. But as you said, you can feel deeply lonely even in a relationship.
Du kannst genauso in der Partnerschaft krass einsam sein.
It runs through everything for me. You have to work hard to be loved, always perform, always deliver, always at a high level.
I know that from my parents, especially my dad. I don't remember hearing, "I'm proud of you." I never had that sense of trust, that things would work out. The opposite of fear is security. I felt anxious my whole life.
Ich bin eigentlich mein Leben lang ängstlich.
Last year I read Fabian, the story of a moralist by Erich Kästner. The cover shows people dancing and celebrating with one person turned away, just observing. That's how I usually feel. Like I'm there, but not really part of things. That makes me very lonely.
Das macht mich sehr einsam. Dieses Gefühl,
I've known this feeling since childhood, that connections don't last.
Verbindungen nie lang sind. Und das
stays with me.
Was mich begleitet. Und,
it's hard not to see it as a failing in myself.
Als Makel an mir selbst zu sehen. Ich glaube, dass Männer darin
I think men struggle more with sitting in these emotions without trying to fix them right away.
Probleme haben, zusammen solche Emotionen auszuhalten, ohne die direkt lösen zu müssen.
It's important to give them space and time, instead of jumping to solutions like, go out, have a drink, or smoke. None of that helps.
Was alles nicht hilft.
You said you don't even know why you feel this way. That's what annoys me most. Feeling bad without knowing why. If you know why, it's not as bad.
I talk about this stuff a lot, especially with my boyfriend. That really helps.
He looks so sweet.
He really is.
He looks like a teddy bear.
Totally.
Also ich habe so ein bisschen ähnliche Erfahrungen wie du, habe ich ja schon vorhin so ein bisschen angeschnitten, jetzt nicht mit dem
I've
Sport,
had similar
aber
experiences,
in der Kindheit.
not with sports,
Bei mir
but
war's
with
so, dass
pressure
ich
growing
in
up.
meiner ganzen Kindheit ein sehr dünner Mensch war.
I was
und
always
es wurde
very
immer
thin.
gesagt,
And
geben
people
dir deine
kept
Eltern
saying,
nichts zu essen.
don't
Mein
your
Gott,
parents
Kind,
feed
du
you?
bist jedes Mal dünner.
You're so skinny.
Du bist dünn, du bist dünn, du bist dünn. So, als ich halt wirklich halt von 0 bis
Over
10
and
so.
over, 0 to 10. At some point,
Und irgendwann
I
realisierst du,
realized
okay,
being
du bist
thin
anscheinend
was seen
dünn,
as
irgendwie ist
something
es
positive.
etwas Gutes und Positives. Und dann hat es halt so angefangen, so auch verbunden mit diesem Leistungsdruck.
At the
Meine
same
Eltern
time,
haben
there
beide
was
Lehramt
pressure to
studiert, beide
perform.
Akademiker.
My parents
Mein
are
Bruder
both
ist
academics.
sicher hochbegabt, so der spielt immer gegen sich selbst Schach und sowas und whatever.
My brother is
Und
probably
ich war
highly
auch
gifted,
gut. So,
plays
ich hab
chess with
unglaublich viel
himself and all
Einsatz gegeben.
that.
Und trotzdem jedes Jahr unser Zeugnis nebeneinander gelegt.
We compared
als er in der
report
5.
cards
Klasse war,
every
als ich in der
year,
4. Klasse war,
and his
so,
were
da war dann
always
wieder ein
better.
Besser. Und dann dachte ich mir so, aber eins kann ich und das ist dünn sein und das behalte ich mir so. Das
I
ist so
thought
mein
there's
Ding,
one
wenn ich
thing
so
I can be the
Beste sein
best
möchte.
at,
Und zwar für immer.
being
Ich
thin.
hatte einfach aufgehört zu essen, auch so basically.
So I
für ein Jahr.
stopped eating for a
Und
year.
habe auch enorm viel abgenommen.
I lost a lot
Ich
of
habe auch dann
weight.
meine Haare abrasiert mit 13, weil ich mich eben
I shaved my
innerlich
head
anders
at
gefühlt
13
habe. Da habe ich so
because I
richtig
felt
angefangen
different
zu schminken,
inside.
habe so mit so Jungs eine Stufe über mir gechillt und ich war so
Then
die
I
erste aus der
started
ganzen
wearing
Stufe,
makeup,
die so mit
hanging
Jungs
out with
als
older
Frau
guys.
Kontakt hat. Dann wurde ich zu
I
den-
became
dann war ich auf einmal
cool.
die Coole. Dann wurde ich zu den coolen Partys
Got
eingeladen.
invited to
Und
parties.
dann kam aber das Abitur und ich hatte
Then
so eine
came
Mädchen-Freundesgruppe,
graduation.
Dann haben die mich richtig asozial im Stich gelassen, weil ich
My
da auch
friend
während des
group
Abiturs in so
abandoned
eine
me when I
Depressionsphase
went through a
abgerutscht bin. Und dann
depressive
haben die mir
phase.
Das war so wie eigentlich meine beste Freundin seit 12
My best
Jahren, die mir
friend
dann
of
auf einmal
12
gesagt
years
hat, dass
told me I belonged in a mental
ich in die
hospital
Klapse gehöre
and that no
und
one
dass
would
ich,
believe anything I would say
dass man mir nichts
because I was
glauben kann, was
crazy.
ich erzähle, weil ich halt psychisch krank bin und verrückt bin und whatever.
My self-image was so damaged. I thought I had recovered from earlier years, but then it hit again at 18. I kept thinking, when does this stop?
Und dann kam aber halt nochmal diese heftige Phase mit 18. Ich dachte mir so irgendwann so, ey, wann hört das eigentlich auf?
I don't like going back to Heilbronn. I always felt like an alien there, like I didn't understand this planet. That was my whole world growing up.
Weil für mich war ja meine Welt als Kind oder als Jugendliche war eben Heilbronn. Ich habe genau in dem Zimmer gelebt.
I lived in that room by the window. I moved out at 18, right after graduation, into a room with my boyfriend. I remember lying there in the dark for hours, feeling very alone. Then I'd hear Happy Birthday at midnight, or see groups of 30 or 40 people outside having fun. And I wasn't part of it. I was inside, alone. Sometimes I walk past this cafe and get anxious. My heart races. I'm scared I'll run into my ex or my old friends.
Hello. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I don't even know what to order.
Wine?
No, lately...
You're not drinking at all?
No, it makes me feel like a raisin.
Dried out?
Yeah, and honestly, it's mostly peer pressure. I told you before, after we hadn't spoken for a while, that people live so fast. They go out every night.
I get that. I could tell from your messages. You were getting a bit lonely because people around you have different interests and different ideas of how to spend evenings. Mila is a very close friend. We've known each other 7 or 8 years. We have a safe space together. When I start feeling lonely, she's the one person who can see me as I am.
Wo es okay ist, dass sie mich sieht, so wie ich bin, weil sie weiß, wie ich bin.
Why were you in Freiburg again?
Keine einzige Person hat jemals gefragt.
In the past 2 months, not one person asked how I was doing. Everyone only asked about my ex. Today I came up with a metaphor. In Heilbronn, I'm a sailboat with broken sails, drifting. I tried so many times, with friends, relationships, to finally reach a harbor, to arrive somewhere, to repair myself and heal. But I always got turned away.
Ich habe so oft versucht, in Häfen reinzufahren und wurde immer abgewiesen. I'm so sorry. Nachdem ich auch so dieses Gespräch mit meinem Ex-Freund hatte, dass ich ihn jetzt
After
nicht mehr
telling
sehen
my
möchte,
ex I didn't want to see him anymore,
es war schon auch eine heftige Entscheidung.
I felt pretty bad. It was a big decision. We knew each other for 3.5 years and spent almost every day together.
Wieder ohne ihn leben kann irgendwie und einfach gar nicht fähig bin, auf eigenen Beinen zu stehen.
There were times I thought I couldn't live without him. But now it's a huge and important phase for me. For the first time in years, I'm independent again. It's a big step in growing up.
Auch in meinem Erwachsenwerden.
Hello?
Wait. We're doing the dirty work. I only brought a measuring stick. I'm a bit overwhelmed. I graduated top of my class. Shouldn't that help me survive? Acapulco. Never heard of it.
Voll schön.
Danke, danke. Chin Chin.
Chin Chin. Chin Chin. Chin Chin.
Wie oft hört ihr denn?
How often do you hear someone say, I'm lonely, in a week, a month, a year? The fact that I have to really think about the last time I heard that from someone or said it to myself.
Also ich merke das in meinem
I really notice it in my circle. No one talks about it, no matter their age. My mom has never actually said she's lonely, but I think she feels that way a lot. My sister has never said it either, not even when she moved to a new big city.
Right now, especially in my field, that's why you asked if I have influencer friends. I was like, no, not to put it down, but there just isn't any room for this kind of depth.
Which sucks, because what I'm experiencing here, having the courage to open up, to show vulnerability, it creates connection, and that's kind of the key to at least easing that loneliness.
What's your story? No one has ever really asked me this. It's been a long time, if ever. And then to actually be able to just let it all out in one go.
On one hand, it feels really good and comforting, and honestly nice to talk about it. But then there's also that thought in my head, in 24 hours, I'll be alone again, probably lonely again. Talking helps, but talking alone doesn't change anything.
Can make it if I will take the leap. Fear is faded, yeah, fear is faded. Nothing changes if nothing.
So, und los geht's. Meine Frage.
Okay, here's my question. What would need to change in your life so you wouldn't feel lonely anymore?
My first thought was, leave Stuttgart. At this point, I don't have much hope things will really change there. And I think another piece is kind of connected to that, more basic trust, more self-trust.
Ur- und Selbstvertrauen.
Yeah.
Glaub so, ja.
Schön. Ich glaube, ich musste mehr
I think I need to step out of my comfort zone more.
Ja.
Mega. Ihr wart jetzt sehr klar bei
You were all very clear in your answers. I thought that was really strong. And I don't have that clarity right now. I couldn't answer that for myself at this moment. Not at all.
Gar nicht.
Do you feel lonely right now?
No, right now it feels good.
But in your real life?
Yeah, very.
I don't feel lonely right now, so I don't need to change anything.
Do you mean right now in this moment or your situation in general?
My life in Freiburg.
Oh, nice.
It's still pretty shaky, but if it stays like this and gets stable, then I won't feel lonely.
Wow.
I shaved my hair off. It happened because I just did it. It had to happen. I couldn't have that hair on my head anymore. I'm about to leave Freiburg because I don't like my degree anymore and it bores me. I feel really uncomfortable in the city now. I don't think I've ever felt this lonely or like I was falling this hard and this fast as I have in the last 3 months. I'm in Basel right now, on my way to Palermo. I'm in Paris. I just got goosebumps and tears in my eyes when I got here. Maybe it's the place to be.
Maybe it's the place to be.
I had a beautiful day alone in Paris.
My boyfriend is an amazing person. And I think for the first time in a relationship, I don't feel lonely because I know he's always there. I'm on a trip right now. I actually came here for the first time last year, and that's when I really got to know everyone. Since then, I've kind of become part of the group.
When's the official move-in party for you guys?
When the apartment doesn't look like a battlefield anymore. I often try to avoid telling people that I feel lonely or that I have an eating disorder. People say, you don't look underweight, you're not overweight, you look normal, so why do you feel lonely? I think it really lands when I say, I was cut off from my whole life for a long time, and after that it's been really hard, still is, to make new friends, to connect. I often feel like I don't belong. I made it a goal for this summer to go swimming. That's a huge deal for me because I haven't done it in years, and not once since I became an adult. I always imagined that if I went swimming somewhere public, I'd get in the lake and suddenly not feel pretty. And I'd be scared to come out of the water because people might look at me and think, oh my God, she's really fat. I've always been, and still am, really afraid of that. It would definitely change my sense of loneliness, especially in the summer, because I could spend more time with my friends and experience more, instead of doing the same thing all the time. It's a bit chilly. I think it's cold. Is it at your stomach too? Oh no, I can't do it. If I saw a shooting star, I'd wish that as a child, I had never felt like something was wrong with me, that I wasn't okay the way I was, and that I needed to change something to be loved more.
When the
pressure of loneliness or depression or whatever it is gets too big, I have to find a way to let it out. And now it's about trying stand-up and seeing how that feels. I'm fully nervous. Really, really nervous. It's a premiere. And you're the junior champion? Congrats. How long have you been doing it?
Next year will be 10 years.
10 years? How old are you?
I'm turning 19.
You started at 8? Fascinating. Wow. Are you still in school? Studying?
No, self-employed.
As a magician?
Officially since March.
Nice. I'm still not ready to go self-employed.
I didn't quite get it. What are you doing? Stand-up comedy? About depression?
Yeah.
Do you make fun of it?
That's the art. Wrapping it in humor while still making people think.
Do people in your industry downplay it too? Like you shouldn't talk about it?
It's my first time, so I can't speak for the industry. But in society, yes. I don't know how it is in Austria, probably similar. You've got conservatives in power too, right? And the more conservative it is, the more you see that older male image, especially around male depression. I hope you're not dealing with that, though.
Also ich hoffe, du hast damit nichts zu tun mit Depression. Ja?
I'm actually going to a clinic soon. I'm not fully sure yet. Definitely therapy and maybe a week or two in a clinic. I started antidepressants again a month ago, and they're helping.
Which one are you taking?
I don't know. I had them with me. I can show you.
Sure.
But I think it's strong, you doing this. I didn't even ask if you still struggle with it.
Definitely. And it's not going away. I was first diagnosed in 2013, but I had depressive tendencies before that. I got some pretty ridiculous advice when I opened up. I played handball, a classic male-dominated space.
So eine klassische männliche Domäne, ne?
I played soccer.
What do you hear? Just have a smoke, have a beer, pull yourself together. And I'm like, yeah.
Life goes on.
Or it doesn't if you don't talk about it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, check, check, check.
And if you can, go really loud.
Really loud, got it.
Alles klar, dann bin ich ganz laut.
Where's Janis?
He's at home.
What's up there? It's the cameras, right?
Was? Nee, du. Es vollkommen.
I'm really excited.
Either I'll just collapse on stage or disassociate.
Also ich habe jetzt vor ein paar Wochen jemanden kennengelernt.
I met someone a few weeks ago. We've seen each other a few times now. It's nice. In those moments, loneliness isn't as present. At the same time, it almost feels a bit scary. Like I've forgotten how to really connect with people. I'll try to remember it's supposed to be fun.
He's also unemployed. He's about to give us a mix of stand-up and storytelling. I'm really excited to have him here. Mr. Overthinker.
Also, Herr Verkopft!
Hi, dein Auftrag wird sein.
Hi, your job is to light these whenever you think it's the best or worst moment in my set, okay?
Okay.
I'm a little scared.
Ich habe ein bisschen Angst.
Wonderful.
Wunderbar.
And people often say depression has a protective function.
Depressionen haben eine Schutzfunktion. So.
Full on this adrenaline.
When you come off stage, you don't want to stop.
When I stepped outside and took a few minutes to come down, I felt it creeping back up a bit. But there were also moments that night when I didn't feel lonely at all. And that makes me want to do it again.
Deswegen würde ich es, glaube ich, gerne wiederholen.
I heard so many stories in that house that really moved me. Even though we're so different, we all shared the same theme. That shifted something for me. I realized, girl, you don't have a private life. So the weather is typically German again, and it's off to yoga. I don't have much to say except I'm really curious how this session will be, since I've had a long break. At the end of the day, it's all about discipline and consistency. And yeah, here we are. I do yoga mainly to challenge myself. I want to see how far my body can go, but not in a competitive way. It's about how I can connect with my body. That feels really good right now because yoga is also about being present and letting things be. So I do yoga to feel myself again, in a way. You can go from that side or that side. That's great. I still don't really have a private life, but right now, I'd say that's just my lifestyle. It's radical acceptance. I chose this, and I have to remind myself of that. And like everything, it has pros and cons. But I focus on the positives. That's what matters. There's the sauna, completely private, just for me. And you know me, I'll probably still work mentally, but I won't really work professionally because I'm relaxing. That's my task right now. And after this, I can hear planes even though I'm still domestic. I'm heading to relax here in my corner. It'll be a challenge because I don't really know the words private, vacation, or free time.
I've really noticed over the past few weeks how connected I feel to my friends. And I love it. It's just fun being with them right now. I feel so much stronger because of my friends. It's such a great feeling. In my 20s, I don't want to waste so much time worrying about how I look. I want to spend more time doing things that are good for my body. That's my goal for the next 10 years.
I'm moving to a city where I know people in 3 apartment shares. My friend Mila lives there in Stuttgart, where I have solid friendships, people and places. I'm not moving somewhere where loneliness is waiting for me and no one's there. I'm starting over again. You do that a lot in life.